In this handheld camera video, I'm going to discuss taking apart my Wilesco D21. I presume all elements of Wilesco, so all Wilescos are similar. First, I did take off the firebox. This is a specially modified firebox to show off the new type of burner that I use, and I needed to further enlarge these holes. This is where the 3 grommets were, and I've now extended the oval hole down to take up the space where the grommets used to be. They were already rusting, and I've put a first coat of a black asphaltum paint on the inside. I have a little more prep to do, and then I'll give it 2 coats of asphaltum paint on the outside. It's a high heat resisting paint. It's made from a natural fossilized petroleum asphalt. Okay, as far as taking it apart, you know, at the bottom of the Wilesco base are the tabs of the firebox come through and then are bent over. I found to remove the tabs or straighten the tabs without marring the paint, just slip an index card underneath the tab and then use a garden trowel or some such tool that has an offset handle. Put another index card in, slip the trowel between the 2 cards, and if you can get into the slot, then just lever it up and you'll straighten the tab very nicely. This is a big long tab, so it required a lever to do. These others, once you get them started with whatever, you can bend them up with your fingertip. When I reinstall this, I think, because I may be taking this apart again in the future, instead of bending the tab up and down, I may insert the tabs through the holes and then secure with a bead of silicone rubber adhesive, silicone glue. And that'll hold it plenty secure, plenty heat proof, not that this gets hot, and then I can easily take it apart again and again without ever breaking the tabs off. I made one sort of error, I thought, in removing the boiler. I'll show you in another clip that I may edit into this how the boiler attaches. You see this part here? I removed this. It was riveted on from the outside. I cut the rivets, but you know, you don't normally remove this. It doesn't need to come off. The one that's removed is at the other end. It's a loose finger. I won't show it right now, but you bend the tab and you just unhook the boiler from one end and lift it out. So this was, in a sense, a mistake, but because it's plain steel and you see already quite rusty after just a month or so of service, I'll clean some of that rust off and put a rust preventing agent on a rust conversion coating, and that way it'll not get any worse. And I'll use little machine screws or nails as rivets because I don't have any of the original rivets on hand. So that'll have to get riveted back on the firebox. I'm going to make the steam line, the steam exhaust line, come over. I'm going to have a jumper of rubber hose so I can have 2 ways of operating it. Either connect the steam exhaust to a, to a vacuum condenser of some sort, or an open line, exhaust line, or I can hook in the rubber jumper and have it come over like the factory did to, where is it? Oh yeah, over to here, where it goes through that hole and then up into the side of the fire, the smoke box. That's the smoke box. But instead of dribbling water and oil into a little tiny pan that you have to empty every couple of minutes, I've made this old funnel to fit into the smoke box. I formed it by heat. I baked this thing in the oven at about 250 degrees. Put this in with it, and when it was soft, with gloved fingers, I squeezed it like that and put it in here like so, and let the heat relax it and reform the plastic. And then after it was done, a few minutes later, I took this all out, let it cool, cut. Now I can put this in. A little awkward doing this through the viewfinder of the camera. It'll actually will fit in there quite nicely, although well, it might help if you could use your eyes. Read. Arg. It will fit in there. I'm just not doing it rightly. Alright, it goes all the way in there, believe me. I'm determined. I'll edit. That's what editing is for. Ah, there we go. Okay. And the reason it didn't want to go back into its position was because of this asphaltum paint. It just is a little, it's not sticky, but it's not slick to the touch. It has a little grippy texture to it. Okay, so now the steam exhaust line from the engine will go into that hole, and I'll use a heated awl to poke a hole into the side of the funnel. So the wet steam and oil exhaust will go into that funnel area. The condensate will drip out the bottom. I'll have a rubber hose or a tray or something down there, and a lot of nice wet steam will come out through the top of the exhaust, through the smokestack. So I'll get more steam effect than you do from the stock system. I may use a little larger diameter pipe than this too. I'm not sure what's going to be best. Now here's the point of this video after 5 minutes of my yakking. To get the engine, I want to do some work on the engine, or at least learn more about it. Undo the 4 screws, but then you also have to get the steam pipe off. We'll heat the fixture. I've already taken the steam pipe off and pull the steam pipe out. I use a little propane torch. The factory has a torch with a little hood on the end which keeps the flame. Anyway, you've got to heat this good and hot. And then you've got this little hub here, which you think would be just a slip-on fit, but it's not. It's what fastens the steam valve and all on. It's threaded. Well, the only way to unthread it is get it good and hot with the torch flame, just playing on the side of the collar. You see, notice I didn't damage the paint with the heat. This is a powder coat paint. It'll take 400 degrees. I did not damage the paint, but I did get it good and hot, and while it was hot with the needle nose pliers, I unscrewed the fitting. Notice too that when I did the de-sweating, I got solder into the hole, so I'm going to have to work that out. Now, since I've removed all of the 4 or 5 screws, 4 screws I guess it is, yes, that hold the engine on. When I lift this up, now it should be free. Ah, okay. So now I've got the engine off of the bed plate. Look at all that oil and metal grinding residue from past operations. I'll clean that up. It's good to see this naked now. Okay, put this aside.